You know, this series is so grateful today to have the opportunity to present to you the new Carney Hospital, Connecting with Community. We are live from Carney Hospital, and I am so proud to be here with you today. Now, I'm Dr. J. Keith Motley, serving as Chancellor of the University of Massachusetts, Boston, most of the time, and professor over there. But today, I'm proud to be here as Chair of the Board of Directors of the great Carney Hospital, but also as the Consultant President and CEO of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. The Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts, of course, is the host for this Leaders Over Lunch series, and we're so grateful to be live today, where we have people in the room, but we're not going to forget about all of you that are out there on Zoom. So hello, welcome, go get that tea, go get something to eat, but then hustle back because you're in for an action-packed program today. Now I know what you're thinking. The guy next to me is not the chairman of the board, Joseph Feaster, who's typically here with us today on any of these Leaders Over Lunch series that we do. No, Chairman Feaster said, listen, you're home today. So since you're home, let's give the opportunity for Stan, who he loves, to be part of this process in a way that makes him our co-host today.
Well, I appreciate it.
So what we're going to do, we're going to start out talking to you in the beginning. Then we're going to bring up three magnificent physicians, healthcare leaders who are just changing the dynamic of healthcare, but also changing the world. I want to thank William Watkins, Othniel Hooter, Charles Stewart, Alvin Peters for putting another stellar program together. I want you to enjoy that lunch. But remember, Leaders Over Lunch is a forum to have a conversation with men and women in leadership, in business, government, community development, and religion. Speaking of incredible leaders, and one who happens to be a woman that's here with us today, Dr. Lily Zoom, who's here as the president of Labouré College, but also an incredible member of this board. And she's here with us today as well, and a partner with Carney. So, Stan, we're still calling you the new president at Carney. You know, that's an old title. You were new, but that new wears off quick. New only has 3 letters in it. So new, that means you only get about 3 weeks to be new. All right, so we can't be putting new in front of that. Now, we know you were over there at Harvard Street because we partnered with you in the Urban League during that period. And you were treasurer there, then chair there, and then you served as CEO and president. You just have a way of sort of working into these systems and doing your thing. And so not only are you qualified, you're overly qualified and competent to be in these kind of roles. And we're so grateful for that. And you use your financial acumen to make sure that financial growth is always part of the process.
Always.
So let me just tell you about the 3 physicians that are going to join us at around 12:30. If I ever stop being so excited that I can stop talking about this and get to asking Stan some questions. First of all, we're going to have Dr. Mupahi, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery, and he's the medical staff president. And we're also going to have Dr. Lori Jones, a specialist in female pelvic medicine and reconstructive surgery. And we're going to have Dr. Eduardo Trejo, Chief of Psychiatric Surgery. Now, Dr. Mupa, as I mentioned, has several roles here at Carney Hospital and is also the Chief of Hand and Upper Extremity Surgery at St. Elizabeth's in Brighton, both affiliates of the Stewart healthcare system. He is a graduate of the University of Illinois College of Medicine at Chicago. Dr. Lori Jones brings her clinical and her surgical background. She brings a depth of experience in treating conditions such as pelvic organ prolapse and overreactive bladder, stress incontinence, and vaginal atrophy, just to name a few. So you know we have some talented folk with us today. And of course, we have Dr. Traylor. His distinguished record of leadership in behavioral health programs is amazing. He is currently the system leader for behavioral health for the Northeast region. And in this role, he partners with hospitals and medical group leadership and strategies, initiatives, and policies to improve care across this country and across the continuum of behavioral health. So let's get to you, man. How are you? How are you doing? It's so great to see you back.
It's great to be here. I want to first welcome everyone, welcoming those that are here personally and those that are here virtually. I want to thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is Stan McLaren. I'm no longer the new president.
No, that's right.
I'm the president of Carney Hospital. And I have, in the audience, we have not only some distinguished guests, but I also have an excellent leadership team here that makes sure that the operations of the hospital is running smoothly. So I'm happy to have, and I'm glad folks are taking the time out of their day to participate. Because we got some great news to share with the community, and I want to make sure they know what the kind of services that we have to offer here.
Well, we're going to give you a chance to do that.
Absolutely.
But first, hold up, man. You've been doing this thing for about 30 years in the Dorchester community and beyond, but let's just roll and put our arms around Dorchester.
All right.
Talk to me about what it must mean for you right now. What does it mean to be able to play such a fundamental role in helping to build our community and build our community itself as a leader here at Carney?
I guess you could start by saying I'm a son of Dorchester in essence. I've lived here for 30 to 40 years. What's interesting is that I've been in the perimeter of Carney for a long time. I actually grew up about half a mile from here. I lived on Capon Street in a triple decker. There was a family, we had a family of 7, and we.
Oh, so you OFD?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you originally?
I'm originally from.
Okay, all right. Okay.
We lived on the second floor of a 2-bedroom triple decker on Capon Street. Literally, it's like 10, 15 minutes away from here. You know, I guess to think about it, because I've had an opportunity to think about it recently, just as a Black boy growing up, playing basketball on a crate on the telephone pole in front of the house on Capon Street to here, it's like light years away. I didn't see this coming at all. And I think it's important to know, for folks to know, that I am very passionate about this community. I went to grammar school in the community. I went to Thompson Middle School. I went to Umana. I was bused out to East Boston. I'm a graduate of UMass Boston, where you were the chancellor and currently there. And so I'm very much tied to the community. And today even, I live in Codman Square. I lived there with my wife. All our kids went through Boston Public Schools. And they're grown now, of course. And so we're definitely connected to the community. I do want to say that coming here has been a blessing to me. I view this as a real opportunity to increase access to care. And why do I view it as a real opportunity? Because to be honest with you, I'm treating my neighbors, because I live here. So it's personal. I want to make sure they get the best care possible. And so this was a wonderful opportunity. And I looked at this and said, you know, it's something I had to be a part of, because, you know, we do great work here.
So your goal is to make everyone that walks through the door of Carney Hospital feel special.
Absolutely.
Like they are the most important person in the world. So talk to me about some of the other vision you have now that you're president of Carney. And we've given you that 3 weeks to sort of figure out what that means. And we've already given you the P, the R, and the E on president, all right? You're looking for your S, okay? So what are the kinds of things that you hope to implement? And now that you've got through some of what we hyped up about the hospital, are there things that you know that you need to emphasize or change a little more? What's the vision, Mr. President?
So I can put that in one sentence, really. I envision Carney to be the cornerstone of health and healing for the surrounding communities, and that's point blank.
Man, you must have a new marketing person here or something. Got you being all concise
No,
and stuff. One sentence, say that sentence again.
Yeah, we're going to be the cornerstone of health and healing in this community.
The cornerstone
Of health
and healing in this community.
Absolutely. And I think it's really relevant right now, especially with that we're in the pandemic still, but kind of trickling out of it. This pandemic has showed quite a bit of inequities. And I think we can play an important role in helping to deal with a lot of those disparities. We can change how healthcare is delivered here. And I just think we need to get out there and build some awareness. But this pandemic, it's really exposed quite a bit, especially in certain communities, just the inequities that exist. And we serve, we don't turn anyone away. They're a lot are walking through our doors that, are dealing with a lot of social determinants of health that, they got a lot of issues before they even step foot in our hospital. So I think, this is an opportunity for us to show how we can place an important role in making sure that the community is healed, especially dealing with such a serious pandemic that we're dealing with right now.
So let's get specific about that. I heard the three things you talked about, the inequities, you're dealing with those. You're talking about awareness when it comes to the hospital, and you gave us your incredible, great tagline that you used to really describe us as a cornerstone, which I really love. And so, but after even all of that, and even though you brought in this new marketing person 2 minutes ago, we expect her to have already made sure that everybody's aware of us. Talk to us about what lots of us don't know about the breadth and the health services provided by Carney, but also, you can be high level on this one, man. Give us a high level overview of the services offered here. Because I want everybody out there who's going to look at this today or see it when we send it out to them to really get into what's right here on the neighborhood. What's the address again?
2100 Dorchester.
2100 Dorchester Avenue, right in your neighborhood, Carney Hospital. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, first, I think it's one of the things that we also have to highlight is the fact that we're an economic anchor in this community. We employ close to 1,000 people. And the people that we employ come from—
Wait a minute, how many?
Close to 1,000 individuals are employed here at Carney. And they come from the surrounding community. And I think that's one thing that the community needs to recognize, that not only are we here providing healthcare, increasing access to care, but there's an economic portion of this. We're providing jobs in the community, family, job that can support families. So I think that's important to note. That said, we offer pretty much what folks need with regards to healthcare. I just wrote out a list because I wanted to make sure I captured all of our specialties. That's all right. I want you to use this time to make sure we all know, we're aware. And when you say people come here from the community, you're talking about all of Dorchester. All of Dorchester. Dorchester's a huge place. All of Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, Milton, Quincy.
Okay.
I mean, we service all. And I think the reason why I wanted to take the time to write this out is because it is a lengthy service lines that we have, and it's important that folks know what's here. When I came on board, I was actually shocked that all of this was here. I knew Carney Hospital was here. I just didn't know what was inside. And And I didn't know how, not only what was inside, but the kind of family atmosphere that exists here when you walk through the doors. But we have a cardiology department, we have urology, we have full service orthopedics department. We have ears, nose, and throat.
Wait a minute.
ENT.
Ears, nose, and throat?
I made sure, I
You
wanted
mean
to
not
say
just ears?
that, no,
Just
ears,
not just
nose,
ears,
and throat.
ears, nose, and throat.
Absolutely, ENT. I wanted to
Okay.
make sure people understood what that meant. We have mammography, 3D mammography. We have a mammography department.
3D,
Yes, sir.
HD2.
That too. We have occupational rehab, physical therapy, and responding to the surge, we've developed a pretty strong diabetes department. We have a diabetes.
So you said there's a surge in diabetes?
Well, just in response to the community, we knew that we had to have, make sure we have a good diabetes department, because that's something that's prevalent. We have the dialysis center right on site. We have a wound care center. That's extremely because, as you know, as diabetes escalates, you get into dealing with limbs that are potentially and it allows us to use all we can to make sure that we can save folks' limbs. And I think it's an important service. I think people need to be aware that.
So there's a wounds care center right here
on our premises. And, again, I can't stress it enough, the convenience of the services that are here. If you come here, we're minutes away from where you live in the surrounding area. We have plenty of parking. You don't have to go downtown and go through all traffic and everything else. One of the things I do want to highlight that's been a real success is, and the Stewart family has spent put a bit of investment in, is our surgical center, where you can have both outpatient and inpatient care. The interesting thing about it, again, speaking to convenience, is, you'll have a private, if you have an inpatient procedure to occur, that you'd have a private facility for your private room for your postoperative care. So, all that thing is right, all that is in the backyard, right in Dorchester. So that's why I welcome
a surgical center right here.
We have a surgical center right here. When you come through our doors, it's well lit. You come right in. The other piece that's exciting also is that, we don't have these huge long waits to get you in. We recognize it's important that we not only see our patients, and how we do that is the way in which we schedule. We make sure that we leave space in our schedules each time for any kind of emergent case that may come in that may need immediate attention. So we try to be mindful of the fact that not only are you getting increased access to care, but the speed in which we're allowed to get you to get in here if you need it. It's not this long wait that you'd have to go through, especially with the pandemic. A lot of people delayed getting care, and that's really led to an increased acuity as they present themselves at the door. We're seeing it a lot in our ED, a lot of presenting with real serious situations that they're presenting because of the delay in care. We've taken that to heart, and we've made sure that we've devised our schedule in a way so we can get folks that really need the care, get them ahead and get them in and do the work that we need to do.
So you've devised your schedule in a way that makes sure that if someone has some challenge, that you can get them in and they don't have to wait, and then all these other things begin to mount up because one thing leads to another and all of that. Is that why the signs say that if you're here park for an hour, it's free?
Absolutely.
Because you're in and out.
You're in and out.
Okay, all right. Well, now I understand.
If you need to be. But if you need to be here a while, we'll deal with validation.
We'll deal with some validation. That's cool. So, all right. And so let's keep it real a little bit. Let's get into reputation.
Okay.
All right. What are we doing, or what's happening here to really make sure, like events like today work to enhance the reputation, because all those things that were misnomers, you're able to sort of correct through your voice from the top talking about them. But what are you doing to help change some of the reputation stuff related to Carney?
So first, I do want to say that I didn't just take on the responsibility of coming here. I actually did a little bit of investigation. I actually was on the board a little while.
Sure
to see the kind of service that's being provided here. I've seen quality work happening here, and I've seen good people here. I wouldn't want to lead an organization that wasn't committed to the community, since I'm from there and we're serving my neighbors. So just right off the bat, that needs to be said. But, like any organization, my emphasis, as a matter of fact, I've started writing our newsletters. And my emphasis for the whole year is customer service. Customer service is really the bedrock for the delivery of care. We're not this huge complex where you come in and you're going to get lost in the crowd. We're small enough where we can know you by name when you walk in. And so my emphasis has been customer service since I've gotten here, and is going to be customer service going forward. I had a staff meeting the other day in which I let them know that everyone is a wayfinder. Now, a wayfinder is a person that greets you and shows you need to find where you need to go. They'll point you in the right direction and everything. I let all my staff here know that I'm a wayfinder. Mm-hmm. And if I'm a wayfinder, everyone here in the building is a wayfinder. Meaning that if a patient needs to get somewhere, if they're looking like they don't know where to go, if they can't read the sign a certain way or whatever, if they even just look confused or disgruntled because they're in pain when they're coming here, I stop what I'm doing. I don't care who I'm walking with. I don't care who's here. I stop what I'm doing, and if I need to help to show where a patient is, that's what I'll do.
Hold up, man. So are you saying that everyone walking around here should walk around here like they're the CEO of Carney?
They should walk around here like the patient is the primary focus, mm-hmm. that the people walking through our doors are the primary focus, that we are here to make sure that they have a good experience. And what I'm saying to them, if I'm a wayfinder as the CEO, I don't care what position you have in here, you're a wayfinder also. You're here to serve our patients as they walk through the door. And that's the bottom line, literally. These are my neighbors. I shop in the community. I entertain. It's all, I go to the cookouts. I go to Franklin Park. I go throughout the community. I used to go stop and shop on Motley Boulevard, on Star Market on River Street. I mean, I'm in the community. I don't go anywhere.
So you're not just saying.
I go to Spots Cleaners in Common Square. I get my hair cut.
What's that, Cleaners?
Spots Cleaners in Common
all these
Square.
Commercials today.
I know. The point I'm trying to make is, I want to make sure that when you walk through the door, you're having a good experience. You're coming in here, a lot of times you're coming in here because you're dealing with a serious issue. And you don't need the aggravation of the attitude on top of it. And I'm expressing, and I'm telling you as the president here, that my main focus for this full year, and since I've got on board, is around customer service, is around making sure that we have a full breadth of service when folks walk through the door, that we're making sure that, and now as the pandemic is starting to kind of weigh a little bit, I get out, we do more things like this to build awareness of the services that are here, because I really think this is a gem in the community. And we need to make sure that it remains here and it remains sustainable, and that the jobs that we're providing in the community are important jobs. And I think it can help with the fiber of the community. Carney is the community. I grew up.
There's that passion that I've been trying to pull out.
Well,
because I know it's there, because I see it in everything that you do.
Absolutely.
And everything that we talk about.
Absolutely.
A passionate leader in this healthcare space. But final question before we invite the doctors up, because I'm getting those hand signals and all that. And I've been ignoring. Talk to us about, this notion of unique challenges that healthcare providers have had over the last year, given COVID and all that? And how has this impacted the way you approach your new position as the CEO here at Carney Hospital?
Well, I think I'll make sure that I'm aware of the fact that these are very difficult times. I mean, in the midst of a pandemic, like all hospitals, all healthcare, community health centers, we're on the front line. We're front line dealing in a very difficult situation. I think it's important that we make sure that we maintain our awareness of our providers, making sure that they're not burning out, making sure that as much as we can do to show appreciation, that we go ahead and do that, that we are mindful of making sure that folks are doing self-care. I think all those things we need to bring to the forefront, make sure that we are present. I believe in making sure I'm present. I'm walking the halls. I'm letting folks know how much we appreciate the work.
So you're leading by example. You want people to own their responsibilities here and treat everybody like the incredible human beings that they are. Customer service is the push. Incredible services here at the hospital, very accessible to the community, led by people that work here. Thousands of them work and live right here in this community, including yourself, having grown up here. And now we're going to have the opportunity to have 3 of your colleagues come up here. I want you, when they get here, after we change the set for a second, I want to get them here and I want you to introduce them, and then we're going to start in with some questions to educate the community on some of what's happening here at the hospital. So thank you so much. This was an incredible first segment.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. Welcome back to the Leaders Over Lunch series. I'm so proud to be here today at the Carney Hospital. And we have an incredible second half of this program prepared for you. And so, as you know, we've been here with the president and CEO of Carney. Stan, why don't you introduce these positions that we have with us today, these wonderful healthcare leaders.
So first, before I want to say is the physicians that are here want to be here. It's been a wonderful experience for me dealing with these individuals. I'll say that they've made it easier transition for me. They've been thought partners in how we deliver care, and have been themselves passionate about the care that we give. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with them. And they're leaders in their own right. They're leaders in their field. These guys are true experts and professionals. So I just want to, I'm actually extremely proud to have them here to talk about the work that they do. But I don't want to underrepresent the value they bring to the table as not only physicians, but as thought partners and as thinking through how we deliver care and making sure it's of the highest quality. So I just want to start off by introducing Dr. Trejo. You introduced that he runs our psych department here.
Yeah, Chief of Psychiatric Services here, right?
Dr. Jones and Dr. Mupa. These are three of the top physicians in their particular field that are here at Carney. So this is a
in most places,
yeah,
not just here at Carney.
Oh, absolutely.
And so let's experience that by starting with you, Dr. Trey. I want to ask you a question about behavioral health and what kind of support that Carney offers, the services that support adolescents all the way through to adults. Can you share some of what those services are in the area so that folk out here in our audience will understand what's available right here at Carney Hospital? Thank you. And thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here and among not only great colleagues and leadership at Carney, but to actually be part of this process of sharing what we do here. Passionate, compassionate care for patients here in the community, our community. at Carney, in psychiatry, behavioral health in general is extremely important because everyone has a need for behavioral health. Someone in the family, someone, a friend of yours, someone personally, everybody has that need. So we need to actually be able to provide that care for our community. At Carney, we can actually touch lives of many at different levels, at different stages of their life. So we provide care from the very early beginnings of life, adolescent unit. We go from all the way to geriatric services. But not only that, we do that at all levels of care. So when we talk about levels of care, we talk about emergency. When there is an emergency, a crisis, we're there. We're able to actually provide that care, and we're accessible by coming to the ED, for example, for the emergency department, where we have a consultative team that can see you, that can work with the emergency doctors, evaluate needs and start process of treatment and evaluate the level of care that you need. We also cannot do something at the highest level of care. It's almost like the ICU of psychiatry, which is basically inpatient care. So we have 3 different units that provide care for adolescent patients, 15 and up. And then we also have patients that are adult patients, one of the largest units that we have, 20 beds. And then we also go to the older adult unit, geriatric unit, which is 16 beds here. So we provide all of that. In between those, we have intermediate level of care, which is a partial program. The partial program is extremely important to us. Right now is 100% virtual. That means that we can provide care to anybody in the community, even patients that are not in our community, but they're in need of that services. So we have patients from Revere, Cambridge, Boston, all over the place, including Dorchester. Many of our staff members are part of the community. Many of our staff members are from the same cultural background of our community. So we not only speak the language, we also understand where they're coming from, and we're here to support that, understanding what's needed for them and what's important to them. So that's all the level of care. We also provide an outpatient clinic, which means that patients can come in to our outpatient clinic and receive treatment there. So we cover all the bases. There's more, and we're working more on expanding those services.
There's more?
There's more. And there's more coming. And
and there's more coming. See, this is also an opportunity.
Yep, exactly. So we're working on that. That's the breadth of services that we provide here at Carney.
Well, we're so grateful to hear that from you. And I know as we're sitting here, Dr. Jones, they want me to ask you to give us some of that high level stuff, but I also, I'm getting all kinds of questions because they want to take advantage of the fact that you are here in the space that you represent in female pelvic medicine and reconstructive surgery. So if you could give us some of that, but then this was the first question that folk want to hear from you about. They want to know, is it normal for women, or this is one of those ones they should come in and talk to you about. They asked me to ask you today. They have urinary leakage or bladder accidents after childbirth and as they get older. So you can do the first part of telling us what you do here. And then if you could answer that question for some of the folk who want to have that answered online.
Happy to help. I feel like you're giving me a challenge problem. I have to remember 2 things. This is like a psychiatry test.
Well, we knew you could handle it.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's exciting to be able to talk about something that's not always comfortable for everyone to talk about. Urology is my background. While I did additional fellowship training in female pelvic floor surgery, I treat men and women, and my partners in urology as well. We treat things that, as I said, are not always everyone's favorite things to talk about, but they impact your life. So we offer male and female urology for things like urinary leaking, like you mentioned, a big prostate, super common, which can result in lots of symptoms that guys have, with having trouble urinating, getting up a lot at night, going too often, not being able to go. Problems with erections. I've always said that urology just helps people do the things they want to do. And that involves urine and sometimes sex. So A little bit of, that's kind of what we offer here. We have a full surgical operating suite, which is a pleasure to operate in here at Carney. Kidney stones, another unpleasant topic no one really wants to have, but if you have them, we treat that. We have lasers for kidney stones, stones in the bladder, as well as problems that can happen exclusively to women. So prolapse, problems that do happen after childbirth, problems with holding onto your urine. So all of those things are available here, both in our office. I can treat patients with office treatments, medications, sometimes physical therapy. And then if things do progress to needing a procedure or a surgery, we offer that here as well.
So you offer not only the office opportunity and the support,
Right.
you do the surgery here too.
A lot of urology is a mix between office medication management, lifestyle management, physical therapy management, and surgical.
And I'm also glad that you let our audience know, she's talking about men and women.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
All right, this is not just about, females and or just about men. It's about both. So let's get to you, Dr. Mupa. And let's talk about the type of services that are provided here as chief of orthopedic surgery. How has this hospital sort of been able to evolve in that space? And then we also know you serve in your role as someone who sits at the table around medical care throughout the hospital. So why don't you share a little bit about orthopedics with us?
So thank you, first of all, for letting me be part of this. This is a wonderful opportunity to let the community know about everything we offer here at Carney Hospital. It's truly a gem, a little jewel that's hidden that a lot of people don't know about. Regarding orthopedics, we offer the full breadth of orthopedic care. We take care of children, we take care of adults, we take care of older folks. And our goal is to help you so that you're not having pain and you can get back to your activities in your life and the things you enjoy doing. We offer the full breadth, like I said, of orthopedics. We'll take care of your feet, we'll take care of your knees, we'll take care of you everything from your toes to your fingertips. And we have specialists for all of those different things. We have podiatrists and foot and ankle surgeons to take care of your leg problems. We have world-class joint replacement surgeons who can take care of your hip and knee arthritis. We have upper extremity specialists, including myself, who will take care of the pains and aches in your fingers, your hands, your elbows, the carpal tunnels, the trigger fingers, those sort of simple things that wake you up at night and give you pain all day long when you're doing your activities. And we offer the non-operative as well as operative care, and it's available 5 days a week in our offices. There's always somebody available in the office to see patients. You're not waiting weeks and months to go get seen by somebody. If you're in pain, we want to get you out of pain ASAP. And we offer physical therapy, we offer injections, we offer medications, braces, casting, all those sort of things. We have all those services here, as well as advanced imaging. We have ultrasound, MRI, CAT scan, and even use those modalities to help us guide treatment, such as doing injections under X-ray or under ultrasound, so that we're more accurate to help treat the pain and pathology.
So what the president said about scheduling and all that, because I know orthopedics is such a high volume kind of space. You mean if we have to see a specialist, there's a way for us to do that, and we can find a way to be available for appointments to make sure people don't linger in those spaces.
Most definitely, like you said, and like I said, we don't want people in pain. People live in pain too much, and if we can make it better for them, that's our goal. So we have two physician assistants who are fantastic. They both grew up in the area. Rob McKenna's had 15 years of experience, and he's grown up in the Dorchester Milton area, still lives here. His kids went to school here, and he's great. And he's 4 days a week, and he sees all the different various orthopedic complaints. And so if you need to come in, he'll see you. We also have Kim Lee, who grew up in Dorchester and went to school here, was an EMT locally here, so she knows a lot of the folks. She's picked up some of our patients before when they've had a problem in her ambulance. And now she takes care of them on the other side of things in the office. And she also speaks Vietnamese, so she's able to communicate with some of our patients in the area. She's very active in the area in her church, and she's even helped multiple people at the church where they've had activities where somebody dislocated their finger or hurt their shoulder, and she's helped them get treated or get into the hospital quickly and stuff like that. So our folks are out there and they're available.
So we find a way, even if there are some language differences, to make sure that people can come into the hospital and receive those kind of services. But what happens to those people, Dr. Jones, who may come in here, and as you said, these are kind of difficult challenges to talk about. What do you say to that person out there who's been waiting around,
I
you know,
would
a
say
little
a
bit
lot of,
embarrassed about those
Yeah.
things?
the biggest question I get from a lot of patients, whatever they come in to talk about, they'll say, Doc, is this normal? And I always tell my patients, it's very, very common, but it's not normal. So I tell patients that the reason we're here is because all of these things should be addressed. So things that bother you, that getting up at night 3 or 4 times to pee, that impacts your day. So a lot of what I take care of may not be life-threatening, but it's life-altering.
Right. So it may not be common, but it's
common, but it's not normal.
common,
Yep.
but it's not normal. So it's important for us to treat it so that you can get back to normal as soon as you can. And so, in your space, Dr. Trail, how do we continue to evolve here as a hospital? Are there supportive youth programming collaboratives here at the hospital? What are any possibilities around those things that you want to share about young people?
Sure. So we have a very strong working relationship with the community-based services around the city. And we work with them at all times, providing services and bridges between our hospital and other places where the patients are going. And so it's important for us because the treatment doesn't stop when patients are leaving the hospital or the outpatient. We need to make sure that people are healthy in the communities they live. That's a way of providing better care, better outcome in terms of having patients coming back over and over for high level of care. So the more you can do to support their well-being outside in the community, the better. So we work with all these community services. Things that are coming and are happening besides that is that for psychiatry, behavioral health, it's very important to provide care and be accessible to all patients everywhere. So one of the things that we're working on is that we are now in the process of starting a service that will be providing psychiatry and behavioral health services to patients at the primary care clinic. So that is terrific because what that's going to do is that it's going to bring psychiatry, behavioral health to a primary care setting where we be part of the team. We'll not be co-located. We'll not be someone who's using an office. No, we will be part of that team. And so when someone comes to see primary care and they have a behavioral health issue, depression, anxiety, PTSD, you name it, we're going to be able to actually provide that care right there and there. So some folks do not like the idea of going to see their therapist or their shrink or what have you at a different setting, but they will be able to actually have access there in primary care. And we're working on that. And then we can actually do different things, very dynamic. So if we provide that care in primary care, then we can actually have those patients there. But if we see that that patient needs a higher level of care, we can, within our system, provide that level of care. And there are other things that we're talking about that we would like to explore and expand in psychiatry, such as ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, or TMS, which is a transcranial magnetic stimulation, and other things that we would like to bring here to as well.
So there's a lot of things we like to bring here to Carney.
No, well, I think what Dr. Trejo said is extremely important about integrating care, because especially in the Black community, there's a lot of stigma associated with mental health. And if we can do a warm handoff, we can just make it part of your care where you're not even, I guess it's a play on word, not even thinking about mental health issue. Like, and then it's an issue. It's just you're coming in, You're dealing with your physical issue, you're dealing with your mental health, your mental issue. We're dealing with it all when you walk through the door, and it's seamless, so that you don't, the stigma that pre-exists when you're walking through the door, we're kind of blending that away because we're integrating the care. So that's extremely important.
So, Dr. Jones, you know, we invited you in here today, and I could ask you about things like urinary tract infections and all those kinds of things, right? Those are very, very important to talk about estrogen replacement, those things. What is it that you want to make sure to this audience about the kind of support that Carney gives in your space,
Well, we offer.
including those who want to talk?
We offer support for all sorts of things that are, related to your health from the waist down, essentially, and all sorts of things that you may be embarrassed to talk about or just have questions about, both men and women. And we can treat things all the way from fertility concerns to healthcare concerns that happen during or after childbirth. And not everything does require surgery. But if surgery is required, we can offer it right here. Sometimes patients will maybe be offered surgery at St. Elizabeth's if we need to use the robot. We don't have a robot here. Sometimes that's really helpful to use for big surgeries, but not always and not even usually. Usually everything can be done right here. We have an excellent operating room, excellent staff, and really modern, great equipment that I've been really pleased to get to use for patients already.
In the same to you, Dr. Mugo, what are the things that you want to make sure that folk understand about orthopedic care here at the hospital?
Well, I want everyone to know that our goal isn't to take you to the operating room. My goal is to do surgery on people. My goal is to make you feel better. If I can do that without taking you to the operating room, with our non-operative treatments, our injections, our therapy, our braces, that's my goal, because that gets you back to your life as quickly as possible and being pain-free. What I encourage everyone.
Can I ask you a question on that? How much does it bother you that this thing that goes out that says that surgeons want to cut first and talk later?
It's very frustrating. I get people coming in the office all the time, and the reason they were afraid to see me for months, years, is they thought the only thing I had to offer them was, you need surgery tomorrow. Instead, I meet them and I say, well, we have so many things to offer you. We can do an injection today that'll make you feel better. We can put you in a brace. We can get you into therapy. There's so many things to try before we get to surgery. And of course, we can do the surgery. We do dozens of surgery every day in this hospital, and we do a great job. We have very happy patients after surgery. As Dr. Jones was saying, we have a wonderful operating room suite, very modern, probably the most modern one in the city of Boston, honestly. It was renovated about 8 years ago.
I was in it when it was just nothing. I walked in an operating room,
Everything's new, everything works. We have all the equipment, we have all the technology. So we have all those things there. So that's why I counsel people is, don't wait. You're at home with a problem with your foot, your hand, your elbow. Don't sit there thinking, oh man, if I go to the hospital, they're gonna cut me tomorrow. That's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk to you, give you other options, and say, hey, listen, here's what will make you better. And you know what? Sometimes surgery is the option, but it's almost always not the only option.
So listen, one of the audience has asked me to ask you, what are we going to continue as Carney Hospital following all of this COVID experience? What are the services? Are we keeping lots of what was in place because we had to transition around, COVID? What are we going to make sure is still in place following COVID service? I believe that's the question they asked.
I can answer just at least from psychiatry.
Because you gave us a smorgasbord of things, including virtual and this, and intermediate, in the middle, this and that. So what are we going to do?
So that's key, because short story. When I joined 2 years ago, a week or two after I came in for the first time, COVID took over, and like everybody else, it was something new that we needed to deal with right there and there. And I found out that the team that I have here, it's outstanding. Not only in psychiatry, but absolutely everybody else. All the other specialties and the administration, and all the leadership. Immediately we jump in and we did things right there and there that allow us to actually do things well, provide very good care, but also adapt to the needs that were happening at that time. We were one of the first units in the city with negative pressure rooms for psychiatry, psychiatric patients, and things like that, thanks to the support that we received. We have changed that and we have moved and we have evolved into the needs that we have, from rapid testing and then be able to actually identify patients that are in need, or identifying what the needs in the communities are. How can we provide care even if you are positive? How do we prevent, continue to spread the contamination? Things like that. In psychiatry, we're doing that. So we can do telehealth, we can do virtual meetings with patients, et cetera. So all of those things are in place. We will continue to monitor how things evolve, and we'll continue to adapt to those needs in the community. But I have to say, we continue to have partial program open for all patients and their needs. We have inpatient units open, and if there's a COVID positive patient that needs treatment, we have it. We have you covered. We will provide the good care that you need, and we'll prevent any spreading to the community in patients and other staff. So we're doing that. We haven't stopped, but we'll continue to do that. So it's cool.
What about, you want to add anything, Dr. Jones?
We have been, of course, testing all patients before surgical procedures, and we've been able to treat so many of us have now been exposed, and if patients get tested, just because you have COVID, we can still do your procedure. So things are really getting closer and closer to what we remember before as normal, and we're growing and growing our ability to get back to doing everything is at the highest level that we were doing before.
Dr. Lupo?
We've learned so much during COVID about how to provide better care to people and giving them access without having to necessarily come to the hospital. And we're still going to keep all of that. We've been offering virtual visits. We'll FaceTime you basically and say, hey, how you doing? Show me how your knees working. Show me how your hand's working. If someone can't get out of their house because they had an injury to their leg, this is a big deal for them. Instead of waiting for weeks to come to see me because they can't physically walk, I can FaceTime them right to their house and start giving them some treatment and some care without having to make them schlep over here on a bus and catch another bus and all those sort of things.
So you see that Carney Hospital is leadership at every level, but from the time you walk in the door to the time you walk into one of these incredible offices of these wonderfully talented professionals in healthcare. Sam, is there anything that you'd like to share before we leave? And then I'll wrap up.
I mean, I guess the biggest thing I can say is give us a try.
Give us a try at Carney.
Yes, give us a try. I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised at what type of services are here and the quality, level of quality that's here.
And when you give that surprise, we want you to share it.
Yes.
With somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. For decades, you didn't keep it to yourself what you thought was Carney Hospital, and you perpetuated those things. So now let's talk about this excellence that's here. And we at the Urban League are proud to partner with Carney Hospital. As economic first responders, we're so incredibly happy to have talented people, a talented community, just making sure that this, all those things that happened during COVID display systemic challenges aren't continuing to come to fruition because you're here doing what you do. We have confidence in that. Remember that May is Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts Month, and we want you to get your tickets. Get your tickets for the 2022 Equal Opportunity and Diversity Breakfast Awards on May 26th, right at the historic Fenway Park at the State Street Pavilion. You can contact Charles Stewart. He's in the room today. He's our Vice President of Digital Strategy. And he's, if you want to call him, his number is 781-572-2882. And until the next time on Leaders Over Lunch, I'm Keith Motley. So glad you were able to join us. So grateful to have you in our lives. We're looking forward to serving you as we continue to empower our community while changing lives, one individual at a time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.